All right, guys, good afternoon and welcome to your academic task 1 map. So for today, I will be conducting a thorough discussion about your map academic task 1. What are the ways that you can improve your handwriting skills? What are the things that you need to do, enable for you to prepare? And all the things in between. So we shall begin. By the way, you don't have to take photos or take screenshots of my lecture because this will be recorded and I'll be converting this exact PowerPoint into PDF so that you may be able to copy and get yourself your own copy of it. All right, so we shall begin. So the objectives of today's lecture is number 1, to understand diagrams that indicate the map, to identify the parts required from a writing task 1 map, and to be able to write for the different parts of the writing task accurately and cohesively within the prescribed time. Now, your writing subtest is the third component of your written exam. Regardless of what type of test you are going to apply for, whether it is pencil and paper or computer-based, I will refer to this as written exam. So the last component of your written exam is writing, and you have 2 tasks to complete. Your writing task 2 will be done first. Your writing task 2 is also known as your essay writing. So you will learn more about writing task 2 soon once we do another round of writing task 2 major. Okay, but writing task 1 is different from academic and general training. That is why you guys have separate lectures. So yesterday, I cater for the general training. We talked about letter writing, and today we are going to discuss your statistical report, particularly diagrams that indicate a map. So the question is, how will I be able to approach my task? What are the things that I need to do prior? And how can I improve my chances of passing this examination? So you don't have to worry. That is the goal of the lecture itself. So we will be answering those questions. We will be gathering a lot of information. And if you have any questions along the way, feel free to ask me. You can raise your hand first. You can unmute yourself directly. You can ask me a question. You can send a message through chat. So you can ask me anytime. But I am requesting that questions not related to the topic will be asked to me at the end so that we will be first assessing, we will be first directing our effort into understanding the lecture at hand. So that is the thing. Now, so objectives, we're done with the objectives. No one is objecting, so we shall continue. So what to expect? So in your writing task 1, your module consists of 1 statistical figure. Well, this is not entirely true because your task can either be a static or a process. So when you say static, these are statistical figures that are either line, bar, pie, or table. So when you say statics, these are images that present information through numbers. Whereas in processes, they indicate the process of how something is created. They indicate comparison between images, how they change over time. So processes, they include map, you have cycles, you have image comparison or diagrams, and you also have illustrations of how something works or how something is created. And we will be doing map today. So look at how many writing tasks you will encounter. There's a probability that you might encounter which among these, you know? So how often do statics appear on the test? Well, as often as processes. So it's 50-50. It's either you will encounter static or you will encounter processes. What's the most common static table, which is also known as the most difficult. And what's the most common process? Map, which many people are having problems dealing with. That's why we're here, okay? So your task here is for you to write a 150-word report in 20 minutes. Sir, I thought my writing subtest will last for 1 hour. That is true. But I also mentioned that your writing subtest will be divided into two. Your task 1, which is what we are discussing right now, and your task 2, which is your essay, which will be done some other time. So task 2 will consume 40 minutes of your time. Actually, task 2 will be the one that you will do first. As my suggestion, my recommendation, which I will highly suggest to anyone, you must begin with writing task 2 first on the actual exam, and the remaining 20 minutes will be devoted entirely for task 1. So you have to learn how to manage your time. Why 20 minutes only for task 1 if I can do 30-30 for either of my tasks? Well, the thing is, your task 1 only wants you to write 150 words, whereas task 2 has a minimum word limit of 250. Naturally, 150 is less than 250. Therefore, you will spend more time to something which requires you more effort, more time. So task 2 consumes more time, 40 minutes, because it will take much longer to finish since it has more words. So that is the depiction, that is the description, that is the comparison why task 2 will be 40 minutes and why writing task 1 will be 20 minutes. So I want you to practice under the examination conditions. So you only do your practices for task 1 for 20 minutes. Okay, now marking. How will the examiner assess your work? Well, you have 4 criteria. The first one is task accomplishment. Were you able to write more than 150 words? If you will be writing less than 150, you will get a TA score of 5. And this is a failing grade. We don't want to do this. That's why you need to make sure that you will write more than 150. Okay? So for computer-based examinees, there is a word counter below your screen, below the monitor. You can see how many words are already in your input. Whereas for pen and paper based test takers, you need to count it manually. So my tip is to write around 8 to 12 words per line on your answer sheet, on the official answer sheet. So what happens here is that when you do so, you just need to complete around 17 to 20 lines. So we are sure that you will be getting around 150. So of course, 150 is just the minimum. You can write more than that. Actually, my suggestion is to write no more than 220. Sir, why no more than 220? There is no maximum limit. Wala namang ceiling pagdating sa maximum. Ang talino ko, sir, kaya ko magsulat kahit 250 pa sa task 1. Well, we should remember we have time limit. If you write more words, if you write more than 220, baka too much saturated of ideas na yung task mo, but there are parts that are not highly pronounced, so it will also create confusions. So baka in the process, the words that you will put there will also create confusion, diba? The words that you will include might create confusion. So my suggestion is to not exceed 220. So hindi naman ibig sabihin, it doesn't mean that you can write anything here in 150. Like question is, can you write the recipe of how to cook your favorite food? Of course not. You will write 150 words that is relevant to the topic. Your topic is map. So therefore, the language that you will use must be accurate for map. And you should present the information in a very clear manner. So we need to check the following: clear, accurate, and relevant description of the information provided there. No opinion, no objective description. Now, here's the thing about maps. Actually, it's not your opinion that will be asked because there are certain maps which will require you to choose between 2 proposed sites. For example, I have here a map of Gapan City. For example, this circle represents the map of Gapan City. And then we have various amenities here. So I'm going to use stars. So here are the amenities, parang Chinese flag lang ito. And then we have here circles that represents the sites where are you going to choose the best suitable location for a supermarket. So it doesn't actually require your opinion, but it needs your objective description of the matter. So when you say objective description, definitely you will be also using numbers. You will also be crunching some stuff here. Sir, I thought that processes are not numbers and statics are purely numbers. Well, in maps and other types of processes, you will also experience numbers. There will be years, dimensions, sizes. So dyan papasok yun. All right. And it should be academic sounding. So together, your task accomplishment and vocabulary goes hand in hand here. Now, your cohesion and coherence, you need to organize your writing. You need to make sure that your writing flow. You need to ensure that the parts are separated from one another. And then you will be making sure that the parts play the role that they're supposed to play. So simply put, you have the introduction, you have the general overview, and then you have the specific details. And the specific details will be a minimum of 2, maximum of 3 paragraphs. So in total, we are counting how many paragraphs. So you have the introductory paragraph right here. You have a general overview paragraph. We have a paragraph dedicated for the general overview. And then your specific detail paragraph cannot be just 1. It must be a minimum of 2. So we will be expecting somewhere around 4 to 5 paragraphs. So no one will submit a 3-paragraph essay. That is wrong, or 3-paragraph statistical report. Nobody should do a 6-paragraph presentation because that's overkill. So it should be only 4 to 5 paragraphs. So, sir, how come that we have this certain number that dictates? Well, because these are what the examiners have discussed during their conferences, which I attended to. Examiners themselves were the ones who mentioned this. And this is what, as examiners like us, attempt to deliver. This is exactly what we are expected to do. So we will be doing this, we'll be presenting them the way that they want it. So napakasimple. Ang kailangan nila, 4 to 5 paragraphs of report. Hindi ka magsasabit ng 3, hindi ka magsasabit ng 6. Okay? Unless kung ikaw ay isang matigas ang ulong estudyante na maraming academic na matigas ang ulo. Alright? So that's it. So organization of your writing, remember, you should put a space after every paragraph. So introductory paragraph, space, general overview, space, specific detail paragraph, 1, specific detail 1, and then you have the specific detail 2. Okay. Space din yan, of course. So, excuse me guys. Okay guys, I'm back. So I need to do something kasi. No? So now, as I've mentioned, so you have the specific detail paragraph 1, specific detail paragraph 2, and if necessary, kung kailangan, the 3rd paragraph. Ibig sabihin, hindi naman ito needed kung kakailanganin mo lang. Sir, kailan po sila kakailanganin? Mamaya, maghintay ka. Alright? So you have the introductory paragraph, general overview, and then specific detail paragraph 1, specific detail paragraph 2. If necessary, if it needs the 3rd paragraph, then you have to put 1. But look at what I'm doing here. There are spaces in between them. Nakikita po ha, may spaces in between them. No indentations. There should be spaces between those paragraphs. So, did you present all relevant information? The task does not ask you about all the information. It only wants you to present the relevant one. So you need to select which one are you going to include. Well, map is not a very lengthy task to do. That's why most of the information, most until most of the information, like 90 to 100% of the information will be presented. Okay, and then you need to present the sequence of the process with accuracy. Well, this one is for processes, but in maps, you will be the one to choose which format are you going to use. Pwede kasi ikaw mag top to bottom, pwede kang bottom to top, tapos pwede rin left to right, pwedeng inward outward, pwede rin outward inward. So it depends on your approach. There are so many ways to do the task, okay? So before I proceed with the rest of my discussion, I am through with my task attainment, task achievement. Now we will be proceeding to coherence and, sorry, we're through with your cohesion and coherence as well. So any questions before I continue? Baka meron po mga questions na gustong i-clarify. Okay, Akashvir. Akashvir, were you my student in January?
No po.
You're a
Just
new student.
So we came just last week, me and my sister.
Ah, okay. What's the name of
Manwi.
your sister?
Sir Manwi.
Okay.
And one more student there in your IELTS already. That is at
Okay,
Pro.
okay. So sometimes, Akashvir, I am speaking in Filipino towards my students, but I will not be speaking any Filipino if I will not be saying something in English first. Because, you know, your classmates are academic, and you need to understand that academic students, they are very hard-headed. They want to push what they want to happen. They don't listen. That's why I keep on repeating some stuff. Okay, we could do this much smoother. We could do this in a more smoothly manner. But knowing your classmates, looking at the names right here, I don't want to name them, but their heads are very hard.
No problem, sir.
Filipino, you know Filipinos, Akashvir?
No, sir, I don't know Filipino language.
That's how Filipinos, that's what Filipinos are. Filipinos are very hard-headed. They have a very sturdy heart. They don't care about others. They only care about themselves. Okay. So don't trust a lot of Filipinos. Only trust few ones. Don't trust your classmates even. Okay. Don't trust them too much. Okay. You can trust me, Akashvir.
No, yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Now let's continue. If you guys don't have any questions, Joyce said none. So did you present all relevant information? You need to. Did you present the sequence of the process? This is only for processes that indicate a cycle presentation of how something works or how something is created. This is just part of my previous discussion. So naidagdag lang yan, no? Now let's continue. Vocabulary and lexical resource. So you need to use wide range of words. You will know later how to do this properly, especially in the introductory paragraph. Did you use a variety of sentence construction? So you don't need to just stick with simple sentences. If possible, you can do compound. Sometimes you will go complex, but oftentimes the simple use of language will get you there. You don't need to complicate stuff, all right? So vary the connecting words. We will be using connecting words here, and the connecting words in maps are actually different from the ones that you will use in static language. So no opinions and no repetitions, redundancies, and misspelled words. Remember, misspelled words take off points both in vocabulary and grammar, so we need to be very careful with that. Okay, and then grammar and accuracy. Let us guys remember that grammar is the most common mistake in the IELTS. So when you say grammar and accuracy, you need to construct your sentences properly. Whatever you write here is an evidence against you, so we need to be very careful. Most of the grammar mistakes that I have encountered that my students have committed in the past are due to negligence, due to carelessness. So you need to be more careful, all right? Of course, not careful, not too careful to the point that you are selling out the time, because if you're too careful, you will be consuming a lot of time in the process. So the corrections, the proofreading, the editing must be done after you do your writing. All right. You need to also observe proper spelling and punctuation use, commas, apostrophes, periods, all of them. You will not be using any question marks here. You will not be using exclamation points. So you will only stick with the basic. You need to use a period, you need to use a comma, you need to use apostrophes. Sometimes people will be using semicolons, but I am not a fan of semicolons because, as I've mentioned, this will only complicate your sentence structure. So we need to make sure that we stick with the common sentence types. You have the simple, sometimes you will go compound if necessary. You have to go complex at times, but I don't suggest the compound complex stuff. So you need to keep it a bit simple. And you need to observe correct subject verb agreement and preposition usage. We are referring about maps. Definitely in maps, prepositions will be coming in handy, especially because preposition, we have preposition of place, in, on, at, under, around, about. So you will be using a lot of preposition. And right next to tenses, preposition is the second most common grammar error that students in this country are committing. So we need to be careful about that. So what about tenses? When it comes to tenses, we have to use simple tenses. You have the simple present and simple past. So we will be using those, and we will be avoiding the perfect tenses, like yung mga gumagamit ng has been, have been, because this one, as I have reiterated during my past lessons, has and have plus past participle means that the verb is already done, but there is no time expression. Example, I have eaten the pizza. What does this mean? I've had the experience of eating the pizza, but I didn't tell you when I ate it. So it is different from I ate the pizza yesterday, because now you have time expression. So why are we going to use I ate the pizza yesterday more than the I have eaten the pizza in maps? Because there will be time expressions present. There will be comparisons of maps. Let's say a map of Gapan City in 1980 and a map of Cabanatuan City in 2005. So you will be comparing those two. So definitely you will be using time expressions that convince the reader that you are using the past tense. So that is the marking. Those are the criteria that examiners will use to assess your work and give you a band score of 0 to 9. Don't worry, you will not get 0. Okay, if you attend the exam and you just wrote your name, you didn't write anything, you will be graded with 1. Diba? So no one here will get 0. Don't worry much about that. All right, just writing your name, it has an equivalent of 1. But where are we going to apply for with 1, right? So saan tayo mapupunta? Are you going to Antarctica? Are you going to Antarctica? So no. So we do not want to get 1 here. All right. So here is a sample of map. This is what we refer to as the task description. Okay, I just want everyone to see what I'm referring at. Okay, this is what we call the task description. I am highlighting this with red. I'm going to highlight this even more using this huge highlighter. Okay, so here's our spotlight. The map shows the development of Meadowside Village and Fontaine over 3 different time periods: 1962, 1985, and present. The task is to summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features, and we will be making comparisons where relevant. Well, comparisons are definitely important in any writing task, so we will be doing that, all right? So write more than 150 words. That is our task, and that is what we are expected to do. So this is the map. So you will see something like this in the exam. So this is your task description. This will be at the upper portion of your paper, and then this is your map. So you have here 3 different maps, 3 distinct images. So you have a map of 1962, you have a map that represents 1985, and then you have a map here that says now. So definitely you will be presenting the information of how the map changed over the course of those years. Okay, so you will be comparing them from one another. So there are actually two types of maps. All right, so people, listen to me closely ha bago tayo dumako sa susunod nating lesson. Before we proceed to our next lesson, let me highlight this with white so I can write a lot of stuff. So, okay. So two types of maps. Two types of maps. Number one, maps that compare changes over time. And then maps where you have to choose between two or more proposed locations. So the first one is map that you will compare changes over time, while the other type of map is where you have to choose between two or more proposed locations. Like what I draw about the map of Gapan City with stars, if you guys can still remember that. So here's the first type of map that I will show you, okay? This one. This is a map that compares different timelines, okay, of two locations. So you have the Meadowside Village and then you have Fontaine. So that is a map that compares changes over time. So later I will show you maps that present and are asking you directly between two or more proposed locations. So let's do the task. Introduction. So we will be writing an introduction. And for you to write the introduction, here are the guidelines. All right. So for you to come up with a legible introduction, what you need to do are the following. Number one, paraphrase the task description. What does paraphrase mean? Paraphrasing is a technique that allows writers like you not to repeat the words from the question. Obviously, the question will help us formulate a better introduction, but we will paraphrase because we do not want to repeat the words from the task description. So the goal here is to avoid repeating words from the task description. Hence, we will be using the words from the task description to replace them with their synonyms or statistical counterparts, copies of those words. So when you say paraphrase, the words are different, but the meaning is the same. So when I say, I want to travel to Japan, is similar to I want to visit Japan. I change the words travel to and visit, but the meaning is that there is this personal choice of me wanting to go to this particular place. So I hope that you get what I mean there. The second is we need to introduce the content using our own words. So in paraphrasing and introducing the content in your own words, these are the two most powerful techniques in writing an introduction. Not just an introduction, but an introduction that will get you there. An introduction that guarantees success. All right. So we introduce the content using our own words, and paraphrasing of the task description is still going to appear. So when you introduce the content using your own words, the key here, all right, the key element in doing that is you will look for the words of the task description. Once again, you will refer to the task description once again. Sir, what is a task description once again? So here's the task description. So you will paraphrase, you will search for the words that can be replaced here, and then you will be introducing the content in your own words by first listing down your variables. When you say what is the task about? Who are the parties involved? Where did the study happen? And when did it occur? What is the graph? This is a map. This is a map that shows the development of what? All right. Who are the ones involved? Who are the characters? Who are the ones being compared? Locations of Meadowside Village and Fonton. Where? Those are their locations. When? You have 1962, 1985, and present. So you will be answering the what, who, where, and when. You will change the composition of their sentence structure so that you can paraphrase much more easily. That's why we need to avoid copying the words from the task description, because as I have mentioned, vocabulary is being assessed. Vocabulary and lexical resource, it is being assessed in your writing. So when you say vocabulary, examiners look for repetitions. So as much as possible, we will avoid it completely, or if possible, we will provide at least 4 to 6 new words so that examiners will be misdirected towards the repetition. So if you cannot find words which are synonymous, then of course, you can use the words themselves from your task description. But that is very risky if you ask me, because halata pa din. Okay, you can still get caught there. All right, so there are words, okay, listen to me carefully. There are words which do not have replacements. The words which do not have replacements are proper nouns. It's very simple to understand what proper nouns are. Proper nouns are the ones capitalized. The capital letters, the words beginning in capital letters in your task description are your proper nouns. So we don't have any words to replace Meadowside Village and Fonton. They are what we call fixed variables. So they will be repeated in your introduction pa din. So words to use, the first 3 words, you can use the presentation, the illustration, or the map. So what will I choose, sir? What do you think is the most appropriate word to use? Look at this, okay? I will return to the task description. This is the first 2 words. These are the first 2 words of your writing. So between the illustration, the presentation, and the map, the first thing that I will do is to remove the map in my choices. Why? Because if I do, then technically, I am just repeating the word from my task description, which is something that we would avoid, okay? So I will choose either between the illustration or the presentation. Okay, those will be the first 2 words of your introduction. So for example, the map shows, I will no longer be using the map because it is what's being used in my task description. So I will either choose between the presentation and the illustration. Now, we will now check about shows. All right, so shows here, you can replace shows with either of the following. You have gives information about, provides data on, presents information on, compares, shows comparison about. Take a look at this, I will not be using shows if shows is the word being used in my task description. Therefore, I need to look for something else. So I have literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options. So if shows is being used in my task description, then I can choose between the 4 remaining options. Okay, so once again, there's no need for you to copy or take screenshots of this slide because you will be given this as a PDF. So you can check it using your phone, using your tablets, or using your laptops. If you want, you can print this, but you will be having tough time printing this since it is around 56 pages. It is colored, so you might be spending tons of money. So I don't suggest that. I don't recommend that. I want you to have a digital copy instead, and the digital copy will be posted later on our Facebook group, which link I will be posting once the post-processing of this replay is up on my YouTube channel. All right. So once again, I will replace the map with the presentation. I will replace shows with provides information on, perhaps. So, but I will not be using shows because simply shows is the word used in my task description, and I want to avoid repetition. So 2 sentences. So you need to come up with 2 sentences for your introduction. How many sentences are you going to write? 2. What 2 sentences? So you have to write 2 sentences. If you will be writing a 1-sentence introduction, and you will be submitting that to me for checking purposes, I will not check that. You can find your own coach. If you want, you can be your own coach. All right. But if you submit a 1-sentence introduction, that's when we can call our relationship over. All right. Our coach and student relationship is going to be disrespected. So if you're going to do that, find someone else. Choose another coach, but not me. I will not check a 1-sentence introduction. You need to write 2 sentences. 2. How many? 2. How many again? How many sentences are there? 2. How many sentences should I write in the introduction? 2. 1, 2. 2 sentences. You need to write 2 sentences. Sir, can I write 3? Did you hear me say 3? What did I say? 2. Sir, can I write 4? Did you hear me say 4? What did I say? 2. How many sentences should I write? 2. TWO. You have 1 sentence, you have 2 sentences, you will write 2 sentences for the introduction. I'm sorry, especially for Akashvir. I repeated that quite a few times, as you have listened to that already. Okay, I have repeated it a lot of times because, as I've mentioned, Filipinos attention span, Filipinos, they're very hard-headed. Okay, they don't absorb the learnings right away. They want to use their own. So I have said 2, but you need to bet, Akashvir. I have said 2, but there will be people who will submit 1-sentence writing task. Okay, and I promise that's when the relationship ends. That's when this coach-student relationship ends. When a student submits a 1-sentence introduction, it's over. All right, you need to write 2. Okay, Akashvir?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much. Now, what you need to write in this 2-sentence introduction? What does the map present? It presents the information about the development of Meadowside Village and Fontaine. What are the areas compared to ones I've mentioned? And are there comparisons between time periods? Yes. So that is what I'm going to write as my introduction. Here is a sample task description. Literally the task description a while ago. This is what I did. The presentation compares the map of Meadowside Village and Fontaine. It includes the changes in 1962, 1985, and the current appearance of the locations. Here's another version. The illustration gives information on the development of both Meadowside Village and Fontaine. The locations indicate 3 different time periods, namely 1962, 1985, and the present. So that is how I did my introduction. So I want you guys to just appreciate this. I want you guys to read this. using your eyes. Again, do not copy, do not take screenshots because I will be giving you a digital copy. So let me just grab my water before we continue. So appreciate this first. Okay, I'm back. So here's another map that I want you guys to look at. All right. So here we will divide the maps between the task description. This is your task description, and this is the task itself. All right. I'm just encircling the parts. So we have here the plans below show the layout of a university sports center now and how it will look after redevelopment. So that is your task description. Now, listen to me very closely here, okay? Listen, guys, listen. Come on, listen, guys. Look. All right, below. This is the word that you need to avoid. This is the word that you must be careful about. Okay, there is a reason why the word below is here in the task description. And the purpose is literally after this box, you will see the map below it. Now, you will not be writing below or any of its synonyms like below, under this sentence. So you don't do that. Why? Because examiners will not be seeing any maps below it. That's why this is the word that you should totally omit. No below, no under, no to any of its synonyms. All right. So this is the task description, the plans. This is my first two word, the presentation. Show. I still use shows. A plan for a university sports center. There are two maps, including the present layout and the proposed future structure. So if I may, I would like to change this to presentation illustrates instead of shows, because shows is basically being repeated here. So if I may, I'll be changing this shows into illustrates. So our repurposed version, our new and improved version sounds like this. The presentation illustrates a plan for a university sports center. There are two maps, including the present layout and the proposed future structure. All right. So that is how I will do my introduction for this type. Now, we have this sample right here. So the map below is the town of Garlsden. A new supermarket. This is what I am telling you guys a while ago, that there are samples of maps where you need to choose between two or even more locations. So the context of this map is that this is Garlsden. And Garlsden, this is the legend. All right. These are the amenities of the town. So you have two markers here. You have S1, the first site where the supermarket is being planned to be built. And S2, this is another area where a supermarket is being proposed. So that's your task. Okay. Now here's the introduction that I made. The first two words are the map. I replace it with the illustration, and then presents the information about the map of Garlsden and the proposed sites for the supermarket. There are two projected locations. These are your who elements for construction, namely S1 and S2. So that is my introduction. All right. Now, people, any question out of my 10 participants today? Do you guys have any questions or concerns? That's it? No questions? All right. So the first paragraph is called the introductory paragraph. It is followed by the general overview. Okay, look at this, ha. Your general overview is a paragraph that is allowed to be one sentence, as long as it is a compound sentence. So when you say compound sentence, you are combining two independent clauses using a coordinating conjunction. So what does that mean? For example, I went to the market while my mom picked my brother up from school. So here is your first independent clause. I went to the market. Literally, you can put a period here because it's an independent clause. Now, while can be changed with meanwhile, because if you do while and then my mom picked my brother up from school, this will now be categorized as a fragment. So what I did here is I combined two independent clauses that can become sentences themselves using a coordinating conjunction while, and this now becomes a compound sentence. So you can only write a general overview for one sentence as long as it is compound sentence. Now, what are you going to present in the general overview? The key trends, the general ideas. You need to avoid providing specific details. No specifications, no modifications, no spoilers. The goal of the general overview is like the trailer of the movie. So the trailer of the movie allows you to expect what you will watch beforehand. So general overview serves as the trailer. So 1 to 2 sentences would do. You provide the locations here. You mentioned what are the changes. All right, so that is how you do the general overview. Okay, example. Now, what I see with the map of Meadowside Village and Ponton, okay, you have 1962, you have 1985, and you have now. So first, I need to look at this task from a far away perspective. Literally what I just did. I look at it in a manner that only lets me see the overview. When you say overview, the entire picture. You will not be looking at tiny details, at small stuff. You will be looking at the bigger picture. All right. So, of course, by looking at 1962, I can see that Meadowside Village is small, Ponton is quite bigger, but in 1985, Meadowside became larger, and now they're just one. So after those years, what happened? What summary can I make is that Meadowside Village expanded, combined with Ponton, and in the process, they had some infrastructure developed. So what is the overview for that? How can I translate that into something that is academic, statistical, all right, and follows the requirement for a legitimate overview? Take a look at this. Overall, there was a marked increase in the size of Meadowside Village over the specified period. I didn't mention those periods because I don't want to be too repetitive. As it merged, you can use the words combined, okay, joined together with Fontan, with changes in the infrastructure, housing, and facilities. So even though this paragraph is literally one sentence, it is allowed to have one sentence. It is as long as my introduction, but it is still considered a complex sentence because of how many connecting devices I used. All right, I have here a combination of one independent clause and two dependent clauses. That makes it a complex sentence type. So that's how I did my overview for this example. Now, what about this? Okay, first, I have simplified, take a look, I have simplified the appearance of this plan, the sports center. Okay, so first you need to look at the present. The present sports center versus the future plan. What will happen? The simple thing is that there will be changes that will be made in the future for the sports center. But that sounds very vague. When you say vague, it sounds too narrow when it comes to the ideas that you're trying to present. You need to provide at least some substance. You need to provide at least some content. What changes are you referring to? Will something enlarge? Will something expand? Will something change? Where will the changes happen? What are the amenities that will be added, removed, or replaced? So take a look at this. So if you are going to draw something here, I'll be using a black square. So this is the present. Take a look, huh? Now, this is the present. Did you see it? Okay. This is the present. What are the things added? You have dance studio, changing rooms, cafe, sports shop, changing room. The outdoor court was changed into leisure pool. Okay. The seating area, a sports hall was added in replacement for outdoor courts. So there are so much amenities. There's so many amenities that were changed. Overall, the size of the current sports center is much smaller as compared to the suggested plan. That's true. This one is this one. Okay, including this. Not entirely the pool, but half of it. Additionally, the proposed renovation for the facility would include massive changes in the entire structure as additional amenities are intended to be added. That's also true. I didn't mention what are those amenities. I didn't say dance studios will be added, changing rooms will be replaced, sports shops will be added. I didn't mention where, I didn't mention which ones are going to be added. What I just said is that there will be changes in the size. It will become larger after the renovation. And when this happens, the facility would include massive changes because amenities will be added. What are the amenities? I didn't mention because I don't want to spoil. All right, that is the sample. Now here's another. Guys, listen carefully, because this also appears in the exam. Samples of maps where you have to choose between two proposed locations. All right. So in this case, I have S1 and I have S2. So look at my overview. Overall, the proposed locations for the new supermarket are far from each other. Take a look, they're very far. This is literally where your S1 is, and this is your S2. They are not very close to each other like this. Okay, they're far from each other. That's the first observation that I did. The S1 site is situated in the northwestern section. So this is your north, this is your west. So northwest, that is accurate. Of Garlsden, while S2 can be found at the center of the town. So what did I just indicate in my overview? Some hints and significant insights basically information about the locations, but not giving away too much information. Okay, so that is how you do your general overview. People, listen to me. Okay, general overview is something that is very difficult, very tough to decide what to include. But the very first thing that you need to understand is that an overview is telling you the ending. It gives you a structure of what to expect later in the specific details. It gives you a summary. It gives you a picture of the map without actually specifically presenting the amenities, the specifications. Okay? Do you guys understand? Or do you have any concerns about overview? Again, this is a common misconception of people. All right. Overview is something that you can take lightly. No, you can't. Overview is one of the toughest things to deliver in IELTS for part 1, particularly. For line graphs, all you have to do is to mention what's the trend. Is there a fluctuating, increasing trend? Is there a fluctuating, falling trend? Is there a stagnant trend? Is there an erratic pattern? That's it. For pie chart, which one is the largest? Just mention the highest and lowest. Same goes with bar graphs. Same goes with tables. But in maps, you don't have the convenience of numbers, but you have the convenience of objective reasoning. Look at this. If I'm going to cover the overview right here, I'm going to cover this. What we are seeing, all right, is that S1 is here, S2 is here. So the first sentence could be, you're very far from one another. And to justify that in a very convincing manner, I will mention where S1 is located, northwestern, and S2 is situated at the center. That's it, without giving away too much information about what you will present later. Okay, so that is how to do the overview. Yula said out daw muna siya. Sige Yula, see you later. Okay, now, do you guys have questions with overview before we present to specific details? You guys have questions with overview before I proceed to specific details? Actually, I have downloaded 3 samples of maps here. I have the map of Nelson. I have the map of Science Park. And I have the map of Pellington. So I will be writing 3 live maps later. Okay, para makita nyo paano tayo gumagawa in action. Sige. So we're done with your general overview. And Akashvir, Gray mentioned they don't have questions, so we shall proceed. Specific details. What are the guidelines in doing a specific details? Number 1, use the present tense. Use the present tense except if there's a time element involved. Definitely, if there's a time element involved like 1962, 1985, then you will be using the simple past tense. Use the words that present the location of the maps clearly. Use the legends of the map. It will tell you what the locations represents, what the colors are, all right? What are the amenities are there? Make comparisons if you're asked to choose between 2 yun, TWO ha. 2 or even 3 locations. Interpret the changes in the map. How did the change happen? Was something removed, replaced, changed into something else? So you have to specify. Use connecting devices, discourse markers to enhance your coherence and cohesion. So you can also use the word, for example, I have here a map of 1962. And then on the next paragraph, I have a map of 1985. So the difference between 62 and 85 is 23 years. So the beginning of my paragraph for 1985 would be 23. Now, let us talk about paragraphing. I have mentioned this. Listen, all right? You will be writing 2 to 3 paragraphs for specific details. If you only see one map, this is your one map, people, you will still write 2 paragraphs. Sir, there's just one map. I will still write 2 paragraphs? Yes. Never submit a 3-paragraph report. All right. So 2 paragraphs. Wait. Okay. Now here is your map again. Here's your map again, guys. Here's your map. Here's your map. Here's your map. This is the map of the present. This is the map of the future. So you will devote 1 paragraph. Okay, 1 paragraph for the present and another paragraph for the future, making a total of 4. Guys, makinig kayong mabuti ha. Paulit-ulit tayo dito pero ang dami pa rin kasing matigas ang ulo. Please, please. Paragraphing. Sige, gagawa ko ng hati. Okay. So I am drawing some lines. I know they're not straight, but I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best, people. Please don't judge me too much. Okay, medyo pantay na. Okay. GO for general overview. And then 3, specific detail. 1, and then the 4th paragraph is for your specific detail 2. So if your map is this, example ha, example. If your map is just 1, you will devote 2 paragraphs for specific details pa din. Now what if you have this? You have map of the present and you have map of the future. So you have intro once again. Itim. 2, general overview. 3, specific detail paragraph 1 para doon sa present. Tapos the 4th specific detail paragraph 2 para naman sa future. Sample. What about if I have 3 maps like this? Map of 1962, 1985, and present. So this is what you will do. Okay, nakikita ha? You have the introductory paragraph pa din. You have the general overview. SD1 for 1962. Specific detail paragraph for 1985. And then you have the fifth paragraph, specific detail 3 for present. Okay, now, what about, sir? I have 4 maps. Okay, I have 4 maps. So map number 1, map number 2, map number 3, map number 4. Bigyan muna natin sila ng label. So I have let's say 1975. You have 1995. Then you have the present map. Then you also have the future map. Nakikita to, ha? All right. So you will be writing something like this. Third paragraph would be 1975 and 95. They will share one paragraph. And your second paragraph for the specific detail, or the fourth paragraph of your report, will be the present and future. So these are the different scenarios, okay, that you will encounter. If you see one map, you have introduction, you have general overview, you have the specific detail 1. So for example, this area muna yung ipipresent mo. And then SD2, you'll present the next area. Now for this particular scenario, napakadali. I saw 2 maps, present and future. So definitely, I have the introductory paragraph, the general overview. I will devote a paragraph entirely for the present. I will devote a paragraph entirely for the future. Now, what if you see something like this? You have a map of 1962, you have 1985, and the present. So I will devote a paragraph for introduction, general overview, by default, laging kasama yan. Then you have the third paragraph for 1962, fourth paragraph for 1985, and fifth paragraph for the present. Now, sir, what if I have 2 maps? Well, I have mentioned you cannot exceed beyond 4 to 5 paragraphs. You cannot do a 6-paragraph report. Therefore, your 75 and 95, look at what I did here. They shared a paragraph. The present and future, they shared a paragraph. Can you guys understand this? Sir, what if I have a map that is asking me to choose between 2 locations? So 1 paragraph for the first location, 2nd paragraph for the 2nd location. What about 3? Same goes. Location 1, location 2, location 3, 3 paragraph for the body plus your intro, general overview, 5 paragraphs. Sir, what about if it's 4? Then location 1 and 2 will share 1 paragraph. Location 3 and 4 will share the same paragraph, making it 4. Introduction, general overview, first, second location paragraph, third, fourth location paragraph. So that's how you do it. That's how you do the proper paragraphing. Guys, can you guys see this? Can you understand this? Do you have questions about this? Do you have any objections about this? Do you have any violent reactions? If you have, say so. All right? So this is how you do the paragraphing properly. So 2 of my students responded with clear and none. Those are Gray and Akashvir. What about my 9 other students? If you guys will not respond to my questions, you will be having an acne on your gums and at the back of your tongue. 2 acnes, all right? So 1 on the gums and the other at the back of your tongue. All right? So, all right. Bibilis ha? So, si Emil, si Wendy, biglang nagsisagot, oh. Si Joy, si Raven, si Yula, si G, si Christine Gloria. Bibilis niya sumagot ha pag may sumpa, no? At saka si LP, bilisan mo sumagot, baka mahuli ka. Sumpa ha, bahala ka. All right? So, I'll erase it now. Okay, people, I'll erase it now so that we can continue to your specific details. Marami pa akong gagawin para sa ating lecture ngayon. So we need to proceed. So if you are describing changes over the number of years, which is exactly yung mga maps na ipapakita ko, you need to familiarize yourself with words showing locations on the points of the compass. So we will be using phrases like was constructed in the north or northwest. So you can write something like the school was constructed in the north of the city. The hospital is constructed northwest of the city. To the northwest of the city. So you can change northwest. You get the point. You can change it with southeast, eastern, western. You can change it however you want it. Middle area, middle part, adjacent to, outskirts. So those are very useful. Okay, if it's not constructed, you want to say it's situated, it's located, it's erected, it's built. Okay, so you need to use words that are very essential in map presentation. When describing changes in the map, okay, when describing changes, for example, the school for the map of Cabanatuan at the northern area was changed into a hospital. So the school was demolished or perhaps renovated, and it is now repurposed as a hospital. So you can use the following phrases. The school gave way to build the hospital. The school became a hospital. The school was converted into a hospital. Built, erected, replaced. Replaced. So simple to understand. All right? In Tagalog, pinalitan. Like you. When your ex ghosted you, when your ex left you for someone else, pinalitan. Okay? So, Ashvir, are you listening? That is the term that we use
Yes, sir.
when our exes leave us for someone else, pinalitan. Have you experienced that, Akashvir?
No, sir.
Have you ever had an ex, Akashvir? Or you haven't had any girlfriends
No,
yet?
sir.
Oh. Okay. So, hindi ka pa napapalitan, Akashvir. You haven't been replaced. You haven't experienced being replaced. But I know that my students here, Bernalyn, Emil, Yula, Gray, G, Joy, Christine, LP, Wendy, I know that they were all replaced by someone else. I know that hurts, guys, but look at you. You're here. Okay? Still doing your best, despite the heartache that you suffered from some years ago. All right. I just want you guys to remember the heartache. I'm kidding. All right. It's the other way around po, sabi ni Joy. Wow. Joy, big words yan, Joy. All right. So when describing changes, built, erected, witness considerable changes in development. So this one, guys, I want you to focus here on the green one that I am highlighting. Sorry, I can't focus because ang likot ng daliri mo. All right, look at this. Boom. Okay. Witness considerable changes and development. When a map had a lot of changes significantly from different years being compared to, this is very handy, okay, in your overview. For example, the map of Cabanatuan City witnessed considerable changes throughout the years. That's it. That is already my general overview. Okay. Witness considerable changes and development. So what if there are no considerable changes and development? The map of Cabanatuan City did not witness any considerable changes throughout the years. Did not notice any considerable changes or did not notice any considerable development throughout the years. So you can also do that. Okay. So that's very important. Choosing locations. You're asked to choose which is the best location for a sports complex. Describe where it is proposed that the new sports complex will be built on the northern area of the city. Explain why this site is more suitable than the other by using this. Because it will be next to the cemetery. It will be convenient for travelers. It is within easy reach of commuters. It is not far from the city center. That's how you use those words. Okay, when you are comparing their amenities. It's proximity to, so you can also use those phrases. Take a look at what I did here. This is my specific detail for 1962. All right, this is your Meadowside Village. You have one small road. This is Fontan. You have one railway, both of which are heading towards the north. North is the upper part. They don't have any connections. They don't have anything to connect them with. They only have those railway and small road as means of transportation. Meadowside is located in the west, whereas opposite is the location of Fontan. So take a look at my report here. Take a look at the specific details. In 1962, both Meadowside and Fontan were completely separate with no roads or rail connecting them. That is very obvious here. There's no connection. While Fontan had a railway line running through it to the north, Meadowside, located to the west of Fontan, only had a small road from the west. Oh, Meadowside, located to the west of Fontan, only had a small road. You can remove the from the west here. Let's remove this. Meadowside, located to the west of Fontan, only had a small road. That's it. That is your 1962. There's not much to present in 1962 because literally that's it. You have Meadowside in the west. You have Fontan. You're separated. You have railway line for Fontan. You have a small road for Meadowside Village. They both go towards the north. And that's it. This is the specific detail for 1962. That's how you present it. Next, 1985. So what happens? So if you compare it here, guys, take a look. It will be very quick. Look at 1962. Here is your 1985 now. Here is your 1962. Here is your 1985. So what happens is that in 1985, take a look. Your Meadowside covered as much area as this now. All right. Meadowside covers an area as much as this. There are now many amenities here. There's a connection between them. The road for Meadowside enlarged. It becomes a main road and it's now traveling towards Fontan. Is that correct? Or is it the railway? Yeah, that's correct. Okay. And Fontan, there's only a few change. It enlarged as much as this. Yun lang ang pinagbago niya. All right. So how to write that in a statistical report? By 1985, there was a considerable growth in the size of Meadowside Village and Fontan. That's it. That's the summary of what happened. There was a growth, not only in Meadowside, but also in Fontan, because Fontan originally has this, and then it extended beyond here. All right. The small road in Meadowside Village had been converted into a main road and was also extended to the east to connect with Fontan. Meadowside, moreover, had also developed a housing estate in the west. This is your housing estate, a leisure complex, and a supermarket in the south. Okay, so this is your leisure complex. This is your supermarket. Okay, superstore, naka-indicate. Now, what happened in the present? They are now together. And not only the road is connecting to Fonton, the railway line is connected towards the Meadowside Village, and in the middle, there is now a train station. And below it, below both of them, there is a business park, an added amenity, and above the station, there is now a hotel. So there's not much added to the Meadowside suburb, Meadowside Village previously, which is now a suburb. So you have the housing estate still, you have the superstore pa rin, you have the leisure complex, but business park, station, and hotel were added as extra amenities for both of them. And this is your specific detail for that. Currently, both Meadowside, which is now a suburb, and Fonton are joined. The railway line, which runs through Fonton, is extended to the west where a train station is built. To the north of the station, above it, a hotel is constructed, and opposite to the station, below it, to the south, there is now a business park. Look at my park. It's so small. This is the park. Oopsie. Okay, the font. The font is not proper. All right. Now, let's see some sample here. Okay, this is the specific detail for Garlsden. This is the first paragraph. The map of Garlsden. So let me use a red marker here so that you can see it much better. The map of Garlsden is a population of 65,000. The town is surrounded by a countryside that utilizes the majority of its land area. And the housing zones are located both in the northern and southern sections of the map. The second most largest area of Garlsden is the industry that engulfs the town center where the vehicles are not allowed. Ito yun. Additionally, it also has a railroad that bypasses diagonally from here. It begins from the northwestern section where a main road going to Hindon is adjacent, katabi, towards the southeast end where a path goes to Crandon is also nearby. Furthermore, another main road is situated at the southwest going to Branston. So that completes the entire map. So my first paragraph is just devoted to the presentation of the location of the map, just to give you a hint of what the map looks like. Now, this is the second paragraph, which is the comparison of S1 and S2. So I'll begin with S1 is proposed to be situated at the northwestern side of Garlsden between the railway and the main road going to Hindon with a population of 10,000. That's for Hindon. It is near the industry and the housing area that makes it convenient for consumers. So you have here S1. It is near to the industry. We have a housing area here. We also have the railway and we have the main road. So those are the amenities of S1. However, being located at the countryside remains its disadvantage. So I mentioned the advantages, but because it's located in the countryside, when you say countryside, bulubundukin, bukirin, diba? Or a place that is not yet fully developed. Okay, on the other hand, the plan for S2 location is within the city center. Here it goes, where not only it will be close to the railway, but also to two major roads. So here's the railway, here's the major road for Branston, and here's to Cranston. Despite this, the drawback of this site is that the town center is a traffic-free zone. Where it is located, no traffic is allowed, or no cars are allowed to come and go. So that's the problem. All right, so next, this is a sports center activity. Actually, I have done this. I will be searching for the sample. So dahil tapos na ako dito, this will be my task now. All right, to do the Nelson presentation here. So I'll be copying this image, Nelson. I'll put it in Microsoft Word. And then I'll copy the task description. So here's the entire task. I'll be sharing it to you now. All right, so you should spend about 20 minutes on this task. The maps below show changes in the city of Nelson in recent times. So you have the Nelson in 2000 and Nelson of today. Now, summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Okay. City of Nelson. So I can write something like Nelson City, right? Okay. So the time on my watch is 2:32. I will start doing this now so that you may be able to see how quickly you should do your writing tasks, okay? So 2:32, we shall begin. The illustration. What's the word na ginamit? The maps below show changes. The illustration presents comparison between, the illustration presents the city The illustration presents Nelson City. It includes comparison of its 2000 version and its current appearance. Okay, the illustration presents Nelson City. It includes comparison of its 2000 version, of its version during the year 2000, and its current appearance. So what will be my overview? Exactly what I mentioned a while ago. Overall, there are remarkable changes in the city of Nelson throughout the years. Although there are still amenities left unchanged unchanged. There are additional infrastructure developed. Okay, in detail, of course, I'll begin with 2000. Okay, in the year 2000, Nelson City. So I will be beginning with south going north. Okay. Okay. In the year 2000, Nelson City had a port at the south and a road for vehicles. An old market is situated on the western section, while at the middle is where the city center is located. So I'll be using connecting devices. Okay. Additionally, okay, let me see the image. There was an old market. So you need to use the past simple of the verb. An old market was situated on the western wall. At the middle was where the city center was situated. Additionally, there was, so you'll be using a lot of your verb here. There was a train station Additionally, there was also a train station near the city center. On the north, the university is or was located. So we have the words situated, located. I have used the word located already. So I'll be using the word built. The university was erected. On the north, the university was erected next to the woodland. So the woodland is here. As you can see, you have different trees. So you can refer to it as woodland or forested area. So now, currently, I'll be using the term currently. All right, currently. So we need to mention the big picture first. All right, what happened in general? There were significant changes noted for the city of Nelson. On the south, a restaurant. Okay. There is now a restaurant at the southwestern section, and bars and clubs are built at the southeast end. The main road was changed into a walkway for pedestrians only, and a new shop replaced the old market. The city center, okay, the city center now offers bike for rent, bike rentals, the city center now offers bike rentals, while the old train station was removed and moved closer to it. The city center now offers bike rentals, while the old train station was removed and moved closer to it. Okay. And then lastly, there is now a halls of residence. A tram line connects the city center for the university on the north. So yun yung ilalagay natin for the end. Okay. The city center now offers bike rentals, while the old train station was removed and moved closer to it. A tram line now connects the city and or towards towards the university up north. Moreover, a residential hall can now be found on the northeastern section, while the woodland is now converted into hospital ba yan? New shopping center. Into a new shopping center. Okay, we started at 2:32. I'm now finished. Let's check how many words I have. It's now 2:42. 10 minutes akong gumawa. 206 words. All right, so all I'm going to do right now is to do a bit of polishing. Okay, so you saw how I did this. So first I mentioned the 2000 version. So you have the port. This is the road. This is the road for cars. City center in the middle, old market beside it, a train station above it. And then you can also see a university and a woodland. Now what happens, I'm going to begin with the port. There's an opposite restaurant and bars, southwest and southeast. Then the road is converted into walkway, which is only for pedestrians now. The old market is a new shop. It is converted, changed into, replaced. So you'll be using those words: replaced, changed into, repurposed, and other various words that I have allowed you to see a while ago. So now what happens in the city center is now they have a bike rental scheme. They allow bike rentals. That's what I used. And then you have the new covered market. Oh, this is something that I wasn't able to add. New shop and a new covered market. Okay, so probably I will add the new covered market here. So that is the only thing missing in my discussion. Currently, there are significant changes. There are significant changes noted for the city of Nelson. There is now a restaurant at the southwestern section, and bars and clubs are built. It should be built. Are built at the southeast end, where a covered market, is that correct? Or a covered market new over, okay, wait, where a new covered market north of it is erected. So there's now a restaurant at the southwestern section, and bars and clubs are built at the southeast end, where a new covered market north of it is erected. The main road is changed. The main road is changed into a walkway for pedestrians only, and a new shop replaced the old market. The city center now offers bike rentals, while the old train station was removed. It should be is removed. And okay, pwede itong ano. And okay, old train station is pwede itong ano, demolished and moved closer to it. A tram line now connects the city center towards the university up north. Moreover, a residential hall can now be found at the northeastern section, while the woodland is now converted into a new shopping center. So in just 10 minutes, we were able to do this. So don't worry, guys. I will be adding this to my PowerPoint. I will convert this into PDF. Same goes with this. Gagawa ulit tayo ng panibago. So before I do this, the Science Spark 2008 and Science Spark today, do you guys have any questions? dito sa ating sample na City of Nelson? May tanong ba kayo?
Sir,
Can I ask
question.
questions? Sige, tanong.
Dun sir sa specific details dun sa last. As long as relevant sir yung information na ilalagay mo, wala pong limit kung ilang sentences yan, ano po?
Yes. How many sentences did I write? So I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 7 sentences.
Thank
If
you,
you look
sir.
at it like this, they don't overpower each other that much. When it comes to the presentation, technically, introduction is short, overview, 2 lines. I have 4 lines for my specific details. Wala naman kasi masyadong amenities. But because there are so many changes happening in the current Nelson City, that's why I used 7 sentences. So the 2 to 5 sentence lang naman na guideline is para sa essay. And this is not an essay writing. Wala naman ako sinabing ganitong kadaming sentence lang sa specific details. So you can write however, whatever you want, how many sentences you want in specific details, as long as you will not be writing too much, okay? Because you only have to provide the relevant information. Because all of these are relevant, I considered all of them and I included all of them here.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so right now I'll be copying this task. Ano ba mag-new? Yan, blank document. Okay, yun lang naman. The map below shows. That's the words that I need to avoid. Okay, so better start. Teka lang. All right. So the time on my watch is 2:48. Start now. The illustration presents information about the science park. It includes illustration lang to. It includes details about the amenities of 2008 and its present condition. Overall, there are significant changes noted for the science park. Significant, pwede naman, there are various developments which occurred in the science park over the period described. So in 2008, let us begin. I will now try to start from top to bottom. All right. In 2008, the science park up north had grassland and woodland. Okay, grassland and forested area. Okay, the science park up north had a grassland. And a forested area where the offices and reception were stationed. At the center, at the east na lang, at the west, sorry. At the west, business units were situated at the west is where, because I'm giving information, is where the business units were situated and a car park was proximal to it in the center. This area, situated na lang. The cyber security facility was area ta. At the southeast, the cybersecurity facility was built, and an IT center is adjacent to it. On the southwest area or region na lang. At present, there were additional facilities built in the science park. Okay, so let's start with ano-ano yan. All right, a research, okay, such as a research facility on the northwest end. Additional facilities built in the science park, such as a research facility on the northwest end. Okay. The reception area is now replaced with a university hub. Moreover, the science park, moreover, the car park, business units, and cybersecurity remained unchanged. But, okay, the car park Lagyan natin to ng the car park and business hub. Business units remained unchanged. The car park and business units remain unchanged, but the cybersecurity, pwedeng building, expanded. Meanwhile, the IT center is now an innovation center, while a bus stop is added on the east side, including a cycle path. The only thing na hindi ko na idagdag, it's 2:57, nakaka 9 minutes tayo, is itong station at saka yung railway. So marami pa akong oras. 174 words na to. Pwede pa ako magdagdag. Idadagdag ko itong railway. Diba? In 2008, the Science Park up north had a grassland and a forested area where the offices and reception were stationed. At the west was where the business units were situated. A car park was placed in the center where another area for woodland and grass can be found. At the southeast, the cybersecurity facility was built and an IT center is adjacent to it on the southwest region. Furthermore, on the southmost part was the railway. Tapos dito naman, meanwhile, the IT center is now an innovation center. Innovation center. Hindi kasi natin pwedeng palitan yon. While a bus stop is also added on the east side, including a cycle path. Together with a station on the south. Kasi pareho silang idinagdag. Ano? And that's it. We're done. 11 minutes. Yung isa kanina 10. So parehas yung ating yung ginawa, changes sa past, from past and then sa present. Pero sir, hindi pa kami pinapakitaan ng live ng pagbabago. Sorry. Eto, where you have to choose between 3 locations. Okay, hindi ko pa nagagawa yan. So bago po ako dumako doon, may tanong po ba dito kay Science Park? Do you have any questions? Akashvir, Bernalyn, Emil, Yula, Gray, G, Joy, Christine, LP, Wendy. Do you have any questions? All right. So they said none. So I'm going to use another new blank document. I'm thirsty. Wala na akong tubig. Can you guys give me a minute? Inom lang akong tubig. No? So wala naman silang question. Just gonna refill my cup. Just give me a minute. Tapos balik tayo dito. Okay, I'm done. Inom na ako ng tubig. Diba? Nakauhaw. Katatlong ganito ata ako sa isang klase, ano? All right, so I have here Pellington with a population of 120,000. According to the task description, the map below shows 3 proposed sites. So those are the words that I need to avoid in my introduction. So the time on my watch is 3:02. So natin to patagalin pa. Simulan na natin to. The presentation shows information as regards to the map of Pellington. In addition, there are 3 proposed sites for a supermarket, namely A, B. Sino nag-chat? Sir, naka-freeze po. Di makita daw. Sige, share ako ulit. Ito na. Namely A, B, and C. Overall, each of the sites have their own advantages. But they are completely separated from one another. So may overview. Kahit meron silang kanya-kanyang advantage, meron naman silang sila naman ay magkakalayo. Guys, checking lang ako ha, checking lang ako nung task description. Kung meron siyang choose between location. Guys, just in case ha, may naka-indicate na choose. Okay, sabi diyan mamili. All right? Nakikita pa rin po ba yung aking presentation? Just in case lang that you will see something like choose which location is suitable. Ipe-present muna natin ito. We will present this in such a manner that is not very biased. We will present this in a way that you will interpret the locations and their very own choices. So, for example, sisimulan ko to kay B, kung ganun. In detail, site B is located on the northeastern section of Pellington City. Pellington lang, wala nang city. This area is surrounded by a countryside, and the only amenity close to it is the motorway. Meanwhile, site C is planned for the southern region. It is proximal to the industrial area and railway. The Ano yung gray? The residential, the housing, as well. On the other hand, site A is the most convenient of all the proposed supermarket. This is due to its closeness to the industrial Okay, site A is located is on the other hand, site A is situated naman to northwestern section and is the most convenient of all the proposed supermarkets. This is due to its closest to the industrial area. Alisin ko lang to para hindi siya magulo. Area, malapit din siya sa, okay, nandun yung industrial area, sa houses, at saka sa railway lang pala. This is due to its closeness to the industrial area, houses, and railway. It will be convenient for people as well because it is proximal. Okay. Additionally to, its proximity naman. Proximity to the airport and Hampford makes it really convenient for shoppers. That's it. Anong oras tayo nagsimula? 3:02 ba? Is it 3:02, guys? Walang nagsasalita. All right, so the presentation shows information as regards to the map of Pellington. In addition, there are 3 proposed sites for supermarket, namely A, B, and C. Overall, each of the sites have their own advantages, but they are completely separated from one another. In detail, Site B is located on the northeastern section of Pellington. This area is surrounded by a countryside and the only amenity close to it is the motorway. Ayun lang. Okay. Ngayon, meanwhile, Site C, even though land in the countryside on the southern region, it is proximal to the industrial area and railway. The residential section is very close to it as well. On the other hand, site A, situated in the northwestern section and is the most convenient of the proposed supermarkets. This is due to its closest to the industrial area, houses, sama na natin yung park and railway. Additionally, its proximity to the airport and Hamford makes it a really convenient place for shoppers. That's 156 words in 8 minutes. I can add more, I can do more, but that is the end of our lecture today. Woo! Good. All right, guys. Did you have fun? Do you have any questions for maps? All right, so we did 3 maps in less than 30 minutes. So practice is the key, all right, to your IELTS success. So guys, that will be the summary of our discussion. Thank you so much for having me here for today's class. I was kidding a while ago, okay, about Filipinos being hard-headed. I am still not giving up on you guys, even though I've been doing this for so many years now. Ang dami pa ring matitigas ang ulo. So I was just kidding, Akashvir. Some Filipinos are actually worth trusting pa rin naman. So I hope to see you and your sister personally when we conduct our face-to-face, Akashvir, okay?
Okay, sir.
All right. All right, everyone, that will be it. If you don't have any questions, that's it. Have a nice day. God bless and good luck. Bye.